All right, we're here. Can you guys hear me? Just leave a note in the chat if you can hear me. I'm just waiting on Bull, who's grabbing coffee, apparently. Cool. All right, you can hear me? That's a good start. Good morning, evening, afternoon. Just waiting on Bull, so hopefully he won't be too long. He's getting his duplo pingado. Duplo espresso pingado. I think that's how you say it. Bull.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on, mate. One sec.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Nice. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had to
I'm
drop
getting my AirPods in.
If I don't get coffee, then I'm exactly useless here.
Yeah, I feel you. All right. My AirPods are just. There we go.
All right.
Testing, Bull. Okay. Yeah. Got you. Cool. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I just saw a picture of you pointing at a massive red candle in the social club. That's funny. Anyway, good morning.
Plenty of those about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So welcome to what could turn into a bi-weekly or weekly AMA. We're not too sure yet. We'll see what the feedback's like on this one and see if it's beneficial to everyone and just see how it all goes. But this could be a good platform to commence, weekly or bi-weekly communications with the community to answer any questions and really get all of the questions together throughout the week and answer them all in one hit, or at least attempt to do that. So that's the purpose of today. We've got the questions lined up and Bull and I are going to do our best to answer them for you. So, Bull, have you got anything to start us off? I've got the questions in front of me. If you want me to start them off, we'll do that. Otherwise,
no, I'm just I think I'm really excited about this. It's good to answer our questions directly. I think it's a lot better if people hear your voice, because they can also hear the intonation and the emotion, and they can run their analysis on the pitches and the voice and stuff. Jokes aside, I think it's just a good format. I'm not sure if weekly is going to be possible because we have a shit ton to do. But
exactly.
I mean, relatively frequently would be a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Okay, we'll kick off with the first question that we've got. It's regarding the DBLP, so a perfect one for you, Bull. Going through the roadmap and outlining what has been completed and what has been proposed moving forward. So just getting an insight as to where we are currently at with regards to our roadmap and moving forward. And there's a few points after it.
Yeah.
Do you want to get the roadmap up in front of us?
No, I think you're talking about are these the questions that have been sent or not? The ones in the sheet?
Yeah.
All right. Shall I just talk through it? If you can, in the meantime, get that slide up from the previous town hall, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
As a leader, it might be worthwhile going through the roadmap and outlining what has been completed and proposed moving forward. This will give more insight into where the project is currently at. Obviously, we're a bit further ahead than the update I gave in the last town hall. I think we are 1 week away, or less than a week away, of having a mainnet beta deployment, which is very exciting. This past week, I was with Grey Fox in Lisbon quite a bit, running through the key management, vaulting, and so forth. I've also been sent a couple of questions by people saying, hey, does any one individual have access to any of the in-between or the staging wallets? How do you control the funds being moved? Long story short, no one's able to access, and no individual is able to access any funds. It always needs at least 2, maybe 3 people, depending on what the operational aspect looks like. We've had a multi-sig audit recently passed on a contract that I built, that we're also using for some other stuff, which is really cool. Yeah. The funds are controlled through the entire pipeline by multi-sig. We have quite an advanced key management system that we are using, which I've used from previous mission critical implementations within this implementation. So previously we would work with factories or with wind turbines or with other things, and we would need to manage secrets quite well. So we're using similar technology. Grey Fox has done a stellar job of testing this end to end. But I mean, to quench anybody's worries on the whole point is that the main, so some of the main security guidelines is that whatever comes out has to be at least greater than or equal to what comes in. That's super important. The
in
whole
terms
thing
of
is
USDC, you're saying, right?
yeah, in terms of USDC, and the whole thing is audited. That's also an important thing. No single person has access to any of the funds at any of the stages, and everything is completely transparent and monitored. So every epoch will have a full log. We will not share a lot of the allocations in terms of strategy-wise, because that might give away a little bit of edge. But we will be able to show how funds are flowing, when they're flowing, etc. So has there been any testing of DBLP completed? The answer in short is yes. If so, what's the initial yield expectations based on the testing? I'm not going to answer that. That would give too much influence on the market, but we're happy with it. There has been some broad dates provided for launching 3 different stages of DBLP. Yep. Who will be allowed to invest in each stage? Well, as it says here in May, it's internal and capped. So that means that it's internal for the team. We may or may not, depending on how well it goes, the rest of May, open up a capped beta to the NFT holders end of May, but definitely June. And that's what's external capped. And then as June progresses, we'll start opening it up, and there will be an official launch at some point in June, date yet to be confirmed. And in July, we will start to increase the cap, having run through a couple of epochs, done some tuning with the completion of the audits. Security pools, I've spoken about that. Is it intended to get BN trades and pool up and running? And I don't understand that question.
There might be basis trades.
BN trade?
But someone's saying basis neutral or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just see big number because
doesn't make sense to me, but I'm just guessing. BN.
Is it intended to get the BN trades and the pool up and running?
BM now?
Yeah. So I think I understand this. So I think initially we have a couple of strategies, like I've said in the town hall, which will give a broad spectrum of the kind of operations the smart contract has to do. So this will give a good gamut for testing towards the auditors. And then, yeah, absolutely. The way that it's been designed, and we communicated this a couple of months ago, is that we can bolt on several strategies. There's what's called an orchestrator. This is a piece of code that looks at the data being accumulated. We also have a massive data lake that's growing with very accurate market data from all angles. So not only perps, OI, and funding, but also lending TVLs, utilization rates, etc., as well as other parts of the Solana system. The Tulip team has been so kind to give us their entire code base. So this is not open source, but they've been really cool and sent us this, so we can have a play around with that as well. So the idea is, as June and July and the months after that progress, the base infrastructure is there, so it will just be yielding, and we can start bolting on strategies. So initially we'll test them on the inside, then we'll test them with NFT holders. And then when we present sort of initial results, we will propose to what's called graduate them to live epochs. And then the strategy orchestrator, this piece of code, will then see, well, we've got this yield opportunity ahead of us, and we are able to allocate, let's say, 50 million. And if it's the highest possible yield for that 50 million, with the risk levels that we tolerate, which is 0 risk, then we deploy it. So yeah, to answer question number 5 of question number 1 in a short manner, yes.
Nice one. And then the next one is R basis, the collateralization, which I think is a big talking point, a big value add to the token. Yeah. Is this happening, and can we expect it to be a part of the launch in June and July?
This is happening. I'm not sure if we will have this audit ready in June, July, especially because initially when you launch this, there will be a lot of volatility in the basis token. Once people start seeing the kind of yields that we can achieve, news will spread quite a bit, and that will increase the volatility of the token. Therefore, collateralizing it off the bat without further tokenomic adjustments, I think, is not a clever idea. Whether the intention is to do it, yes, absolutely. Whether the intention is to do it as soon as possible, absolutely, because we want to be able to give, and it's a bit of a cliche word, but convexity to the token. Having said that, I alluded to it earlier. We have several adjustments to make to the tokenomics together with the team. The DAO and the several channels within the Discord have given already many great ideas. Comgito and Andy Mack and I are discussing this on a continuous basis. We're sort of consolidating it to a couple of ideas. Some of those ideas are all centered around providing a natural value appreciation to the token. So there needs to be a natural driver for value apart from speculation for the token and apart from yield. And this will entail stuff like scarcity, gated access, the ability to collateralize our basis, etc., etc., etc. So we need to present this as a package because all of these things are interrelated. I'm very sure that a lot of the members within the DAO channel have a lot of commentary on it. And then our goal is to update the tokenomics of basis one step further before the pool launches, so that people can make a calculated decision going forward.
Yeah. I think that flows well into the next question as well.
Yeah. So short answer, yes, but not right away because that wouldn't be very smart.
Yeah. So flowing that on into the next question is the comparison between investing in tokens for yield versus investing purely with USDC in the DBLP with stable. So there's been a lot of chat with that in the Discord for the last week or so, and I think people are a little bit confused, and fair enough. So some people think that the tokens will just directly follow what the yield of the DBLP is producing, but others think that there'll be a growth and risk aspect with obviously a decent PE. So
so like I said just now, I think this whole thing started with Adam sharing a thought out of context, so sharing one side of a thought which was incomplete, and then people start treating it as an absolute. They are not taking into account the multiples of the valuation, the further tokenomic updates, the scarcity, and the fact that there will probably be some gated access using basis. Like I said in the previous question answered, the goal is natural value appreciation for the token, and I am 100% sure we are going to achieve that. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we need to adjust the economics of the token as we go along. That's fine. And we wouldn't have been the first protocol that does that. That launches something complex and tries to make sure that the people that invested in you in the initial IDO, so the people that contributed the cash for you to start this protocol, and the people that buy the token afterwards, given the knowledge that they had, are not screwed over. So my mission is there's no way in hell that the value of the token will be pegged to some sort of yield multiple or some back of the hand spreadsheet calculation. I just think it's a very limited, narrow view of what the valuation of the token is going to be like. So I don't agree with it, but I've made my opinion on this clear in the Discord.
Yeah, cool. So the subsequent phases of the DBLP rollout have been discussed in the last town hall. So that's this slide here. Mm-hmm. Is there a defined phase or point in the development of the DBLP that will mark the beginning of yield being distributed as BM Now tokens? Bull has mentioned in the Discord that profits from the capped internal phase will most likely flow into the insurance fund first. Wondering when this shifts to BM Now distributions.
Yeah, so you're really lucky. We're using our own funds to prop up the insurance fund in terms of yield in the beginning. So basically, like it showed in the design, that fund needs a little bit of meat on the bone. I think that's very important for everybody. And to get it started off, we might look for parties to maybe sponsor it in the beginning as well, especially once the auditors have finished their thing, so that we can start issuing BM Now as soon as possible. The fact of the matter is that as soon as external funds start rolling in, whether this is via limited beta or other, those people that are contributing funds should expect yield. It might not be as big as they would get if the insurance fund was properly filled in the beginning. But yeah, we have to also ensure that there's some sort of incentive for people to do that. Otherwise, there's no point in locking your USDC up in some experimentation pool. So it all really depends on, our initial runs and how much the insurance fund is utilized. Ideally, if you think about it, the insurance fund isn't used at all. We have perfect execution, but shit happens. Like Solana goes down, even though we've projected and done some calculations on that, and it would actually be beneficial for us because there's an immediate arb to be done right away once it gets up. So ideally, the insurance fund is not used, but to be sure, we would want to fill up the insurance fund a little bit first. So people are asking for exact figures, dates, and numbers. I can't give them to you right now, but they will come in due time and far enough in advance so you can make a decision.
Yep, cool. Previous town halls have shown a variety of planned yield strategies with different risks and payoffs. Will a user depositing $1 into the DBLP be able to choose their preferred strategy and projected APR?
That's a really good question. I really like this question because that's what I've been thinking about the last couple of days, is that we'll have some sort of way where people can lock up their funds longer in order to make use of strategies that take longer to develop and deploy but have higher yield. I do think that there is, a risk. There's the old adage of risk and reward. So if you want low risk, you're going to get low reward for sure, even though we're in the delta neutral. But I think the risk here is complexity. So in something young right off the bat, if you're starting to deploy very complex strategies, that there is not a sort of financial risk in terms of the strategy, but there's an execution risk, a counterparty risk, and the fact that it's new and that you're not, you don't have that Fingerspitzengefühl with it yet. So this is something I'm thinking of right now. The protocol, the smart contract, has been designed to allow this, so that's a good point. But it's very much a thought in process at the moment.
Yeah, cool. Okay, here's a good one. Do we have an action plan for marketing, and when do we expect it to start? Well, I think the marketing has already started. You just probably haven't had tangible, I guess, a feel for it yet, but it is happening. It's happening right in front of your eyes, and it's building quite nicely. So we've got a plan in place. Dangerous Bros, Tintin, myself, Andy Mack, and the majority of the team are pretty involved with the marketing at the moment. So refining that process leading into the DBLP, we've had some pretty steady growth over the last couple of months. So that'll be picking up leading into the DBLP, flowing off of the TED Talks macro stuff and flowing into Basis and building a brand around Basis based on, an existing audience that I guess Trader Skew has already, TED Talks Macro has already, and producing a solid platform for Basis around that existing audience, as well as attracting a new audience base as well. So there'll be YouTube streams, there'll be potential partnerships with some larger channels in the space that we've been working on. And we've also got some AMAs coming up with Orca and looking to get on one with Serum as well. So looking to get a few AMAs each month, which will be good to get the name out there and to get, I guess, connected with some bigger protocols in the space and try and bounce off of each other. But there is a plan in place, and it's being executed down to the day at the moment. It's just we're in a stage now that the product is being built, and we're slowly ramping up, growing the audience. Approaching 15,000 on Twitter. We're getting solid viewership across YouTube videos and a pretty strong community in the Discord. So we're trying to build on that, build that solid foundation. And then when the product's live, we have a foundation to really pump it and really get it out there. So that's the plan at the moment. But yeah, it's being executed, but at the moment it might not be as tangible as you would I guess, maybe expect or want it to be. But it is happening, and you'll see it really ramp up once the product's live and once everything's hitting the ground running.
I think there's also a bit of experience behind this marketing, right? I mean, it makes no sense to shout for months from the roof when you don't have anything tangible to show on the outside. You need to ramp it up slowly. And so what you
Yeah.
do before the protocol is built and released, you start building external partnerships. So you make sure that you have good rapport with the other protocols, with the ecosystem, with larger TVL contribution factors, and so forth. That's your focus before the launch. And then as the launch comes nearer, you start externally pumping it. So I think that
Yeah.
where I see this question coming from a lot of people that haven't really, that are used to some sort of NFT marketing, which is just over the top,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
9 times out of 10 a cash grab. Whereas
Yeah.
here it's a bit more nuanced, which I think is actually.
And we're not looking to offer tokens to any crypto influencers and things like that. That is the typical go-to from most of the projects out there. You get hit up in the DMs. Probably you do as well, Bull, on Twitter. Hey,
oh my God,
promote this for me for X amount of dollars and just crap like that. So we're not doing that. It's all
it's an
in-house.
immediate block. It's immediate block.
Exactly.
And the good thing is we have 0 VCs. We have paid 0 tokens to exchanges to be listed. There's no influencer nonsense going around. I'm actually quite proud the way it's being marketed. It's very subtle, mature, but there's an exponent in it that people do not see.
And look, we're at 15,000 followers or 14,500 or whatever on Twitter, and the DBLP hasn't even launched. So I think that's a pretty good effort in 6 months or something. Most projects go out and pay marketing agencies to come in and pay bots and get fake followers and all that crap. So we're organic and we're building, and we've seen some solid growth into the DBLP. So you can expect that to ramp up.
Yeah.
The DBLP results will speak for themselves. However, the other big factor will be assuring potential investors of security, especially with the exploits people have heard about. Can you speak to that concern?
Yeah, so I've sorry, I'm not eating a bit of breakfast. So I alluded to this earlier about the audits, about security by design. So there's no wallet which has a key. There's no paper wallets. There is none of this nonsense. It's all a multi-sig flow. The infrastructure is akin, and I've worked with banks before in terms of infrastructure, and it's set up almost exactly as the way as a bank would allow an external software party to build software for them. And I don't know if any one of you has ever done that, but it's like Adam would have an amazing metaphor for this, like trying to park a Boeing in somebody's anus or something like that. But it is very hard.
Adam would say.
The litmus test for us is when the devs are having an annoying time getting shit done. That's when you're going towards the secure area. But to assure other people outside, going to have it audited by several parties. There's security by design. There's no all eggs in one basket. So yeah, it's to give somebody 100% guarantee that there's no risks, that would be stupid. And it's just lying. But yeah, I think security is the first rule I'm building from the start and until the end, and people that have been here since the beginning will see this, is security. So my mantra is that people's money needs to be safe. Like, you need to get out as least as much as you have put in. That's the important part.
Yep. Okay, so the next one is, while the DBLP development seems to be progressing well, it could be argued that much of the reason price is down to the questionable actions of certain team members. Yes, that can definitely be the argument, and the AMA is a good start, but what steps can be taken to start rebuilding investor trust in the project pre-DBLP launch? I'll speak to this just quickly. I think, 100% I can understand the concerns, and I think I've addressed that previously. And those comments still stand. Going forward, I think whatever we say and whatever we have promised earlier on, and spoken about earlier on, is just living that by with integrity and doing what we say we're going to do. So I think that would be a big component of building investor trust, or rebuilding that investor trust. So I think that's the most important thing personally, and I could probably say that is the case for the rest of the team. What do you think, Paul?
I could work anywhere. I'm not being arrogant. I don't need to work anywhere. I'm practically retired, but I choose to work here because I believe in the team. I've seen So in a nutshell, like the Andreas thing, we couldn't see that coming. I did warn Ted in November saying, what's going on here? I don't really understand. But when you've just joined the team, is the first thing that you're going to do is openly question the CTO? No, you build and you see where it goes, but you prepare. So whilst I was being humble, I did make sure that there would be no adverse impact to anything, no IP leakage, no keys lost, no mint wallets or whatever. And that paid out. Then I see some of the actions recently, and I think that 9 times out of 10, when these kind of things happen, it's because we built too much on trust and we didn't make clear agreements from the get-go. And everybody always says is that, oh yeah, but you should have agreed all of this out from the outset. I'm sorry, but that's not reality. Everybody, hindsight is a bit of a bitch, and everybody always expects you to build the most perfect thing right off the bat, and then you just execute the plan. That's not the way it goes. So what we've done is we sat together, we evaluated everything that's happened, and then we evaluate, okay, why are we here? What are we doing? And what we're doing is building value. We want to build the best yield extracting protocol there is. I've called it a yield machine or yield extraction machine in the past. And I 100% believe that the people that we are building it with here are the right people to do so. This is my 7th or 8th company, and I've never had a team like I've had right here. So to answer the question, what can we do to build external trust? Well, yesterday we finalized our viewpoints on some covenants that we agreed upon. And one of the things we decided, for example, is that none of us, absolutely none of us, can trade the basis token to a degree where it has any recognizable impact on the market. If we have holdings, we'll keep them. We're not going to liquidate what we have. But if there's any existing holdings that need to go, we'll do an OTC deal, etc., etc., etc. Like we're not touching the market effectively anymore. We're making sure that we communicate about worries and stuff ahead of time, and we have like 9 or 10 other things that we've agreed upon that are going to eliminate these kind of things. We are not saying anything more about whether we think something is undervalued or overvalued. It's just not our place to do so. It's not fair. It's asymmetric information, and we are not able to act on that either ourselves. So the most important thing with the entire team, which we all agreed upon, and which Adam rallied us all behind, is that we need to focus on building value, and that's the only thing that we need to do. So in order to finally answer this question, what are you going to do to build trust? Just deliver. That's the key word. Like if we deliver, that's that.
Yeah, exactly. Do what we say we're going to do, and it should take care of itself. Okay, the next one is... Okay, so what is your realistic scenario and when the pool will be operational with token and NFT holders staking and receiving their first week rewards? I think we've already spoken to this. Can you speak of the initial funds committed for the DBLP when the above scenario is viable? It's quite a bit to this question. You've got it in front of you, don't you?
Yeah, this is not a question. This is like this is one of those
a brain dump. Yeah.
So just quickly, what is the realistic scenario on when the pool is operating? I'm not going to answer that. When and speak the initial funds, not going to answer that either. Are you looking to taking over or taking advantage of Solana? Yeah, of course. We're going to take advantage of everything.
Yep. So let's go across chains. So that question is just: are you looking to go into other chains to take advantage of the APRs? Yeah.
If we have essentially what is a USDC pool that's yielding a lot more than Anchor on Terra, then we're going to be fine. Proposal Discord NFT allocating 2% of the yields to other purposes. Yeah, I do think I'm very happy that we had the DAO proposal for Orca emissions and higher liquidity. If not, we would have been in a far worse place. I am slowly focusing more on the value, the intrinsic value of the token, rather than providing an awesome market. I think that if you provide, I've grown in this perspective, I think, personally, and that is I used to think a liquid market is super, super duper important, the rest will come. Now, I think actually if you start at the core with, if there's an intrinsic value to the token and there's an intrinsic appreciation to the value in the token, the market will follow. And I do realize that
you'll be attracting liquidity anyway. Yeah,
exactly. And some of the more experienced people in the DAO will have been saying this. I think that we were on different perspectives in terms of timing, but I'm warming much more to the idea. What is your honest view? Geez, like 10 questions in one. What is your honest view on token farming available? No, it does not hurt the project. People that get hurt are, I'm sorry to say this, absolutely terrible at risk management. I'm sorry. I don't get hurt. I sleep at night. I am in positions, I'm in leverage positions and so forth, but I sleep and I don't get hurt because I know how to risk manage. And I'm really sorry for this hard message, but the purpose of the leverage yield farming that exists is to leverage the liquidity that is put into the market. Because we are providing a borrow market and the ability to leverage yield farm, there's automatic liquidity that is provided to Orca. That's the purpose. It's not the purpose is not to make people rich or whatever. There's people that know how to use it, can hedge certain risks. So say that we've just had a massive Omega pump. The smarter thing to do is to start layering into a short in order to hedge your exposure if you're bullish on the token. Anyway, so that's all I will say on that. I'm sorry that's a bit of tough love, but yeah, we are not providing farming to make you comfortably rich. Sorry to say it, this is not how it works. Technical viability of having separate, smaller, high yielding pools for NFT holders. You're literally asking me to do more work instead of just build a good protocol here. So it's not something. Smaller, higher yielding pools. I think there's merit to this idea, but not right off the bat. No. Okay.
Regarding other revenue streams, I'm sorry, the dog next door is going off its nut. Regarding other revenue streams, it was mentioned previously that there were several other revenue generating streams that the team were brainstorming or looking into. Are there any progress ideas the team is willing to share with us at this stage? Well, that goes back to the strategies that we're developing internally, right? It's a plethora of different strategies that we'd be giving away alpha if we get too far deep into it.
Yeah, but I can say this, like, say that you've amassed all of this data and all of this quality data, and you're demonstrably, profitably utilizing it in a popular protocol that has gained a lot of traction recently. That in and of itself is the best marketing for that extra revenue generating stream. So 100%, short answer is yes, but for the details, we're not going to do this.
Yeah. Okay. Can you provide more details on the insurance fund? Is this a pool of capital that will ensure depositor funds in case of a loss, or is it something more like the anchor yield reserve where it will be used to subsidize yield in periods where the strategies aren't as profitable?
We're not subsidizing yield. I can tell you that right off the bat. So the insurance fund you have to see is like a tax that people that are in the pool pay in order to have a safe pool in and of themselves. So it's a very, and it speaks very much to the hat I have on in my PFP. It's a very communist idea whereby essentially everybody is benefiting and profiting of the protocol, but all of you and everybody that provides liquidity into the pool is contributing to making the pool safer as the day goes on. So the insurance fund is there in order to ensure that the protocol gets safer and safer and safer in and of itself over time. Why it will be used? It can be used in micro ways. So for example, when you need to exit a perma-perp position, but the spot to perp price is not optimal and you're going to suffer some execution loss, which will hack into the yield, or you can leverage some of the insurance fund for it. Or when there is when we see, for example, that an epoch is within a stablecoin pool, and there are signs of it not going in the right direction, or we're getting warned or something like that, and we need to exit immediately, or we suffer some sort of small loss there. The point is that this pool, the ratio of this pool to the expenses that this pool pays should be massive. So that is to say is that there should only be very minute usages of it over time, and the goal is to have zero usage of it over time. So my dream is actually that we're able to deprecate this pool over time.
Yep, perfect. Okay, the next one is, can you think of a practical material way of expressing goodwill to members of the community who were liquidated? When Ted Market sold his tokens, some people have said they lost half their stack. As a gesture of goodwill, would the team tap into NFTs forfeited by Andreas to assist some community members?
I think, yeah, I can answer this one, Ted. I don't think you should answer this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, you can say stuff about it if you want, obviously. I feel,
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to.
yeah. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. All right.
Did my mic cut out?
I
I've got you
think,
perfectly.
yeah. So, I mean, you're my friend. I've worked with you with a year, almost a year now. It's been, oh my God, it's almost been a year. Day in, day out, every morning. First thing wake up, Ted, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Started with Lambda, teaching each other things. You're teaching me about macro and the markets, and I'm helping you with code, and we're building stuff together. And I mean, people can believe what they want to believe, but I know Ted to be a person of complete integrity. Like this, I trust him with my kids, and the execution of Ted selling the tokens that he bought with his own money, that's a poor execution. But is he allowed to? Yes. Should we have agreed with the team to not build personal exposure of this magnitude in our own token? Absolutely. Is it easy to say with hindsight that that was a stupid thing not to agree with from the beginning? Yeah, that's very easy with hindsight to say. But when you are very bullish on the token, on the project, and on the team, and you're accumulating, and you wake up to realize that your stack is actually quite big or way too big, and that's a human thing. I mean, people pretending they have never made mistakes are LARPs. This is a mistake, and that's what it is. Do I think it's a bad mistake? Yeah. Do I forgive Ted? Yeah, absolutely. The thing is that some people say they lost half their stack. I mean, in terms of natural price depreciation, yeah, I think it's a shame what happened, and the price did dump, and it still hasn't recovered properly. But do I feel that price will recover? Yeah, I have no worries about it. I'm underwater myself, but I sleep at night because I risk manage and I know where it's going, and I'm here building on it. So if I cannot sway value into the project, then we would have a reason to worry about it. If the team cannot put value into the project, then we'd have something to worry about. I think it's just unfortunate, but I think it sets a really bad precedent that we have to compensate people for the risk that they have to manage themselves. I'm sorry that this is a little bit of tough love, but it's the way it is. Yeah, the NFTs forfeited by Andreas. Those NFTs are, we haven't decided what to do with them yet. I definitely don't want them. It's if anything, we are going to keep them to make sure that we incentivize future team members. And like I said earlier, price is price. We're not going to talk about price. If we do a good job, things will solve themselves.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, the marketing, another question on marketing, an overview of which channels we are targeting. Timings on when this will be hitting the streets. So I think I've already given a rundown of that. We'll skip that one. When are the NFTs getting the branding update, aka when spin?
This fucking spinning token. When I have an afternoon of 4 hours where no kids are screaming at me and nothing is going down, nobody's dumping their tokens, then I can make them spin. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Well, I lost myself down the page now. It would be cool to see how market conditions have tracked compared to team sentiment pre-IDO. How our effective yield projections required some modification. Has the bear market prognostications actually proven out the BM business case?
Proven out? What do you mean?
Business case, maybe they're referring to still performing in a bear market, which,
well,
yeah,
it's like this, right? So when everything is pumping, when everybody is to the tits long, all the tokens, the fundings are obviously amazing, and it becomes super easy to extract yield out of the market. You just need to buy some spot, short the perp, sit back and drink a mojito. Like, I mean, it's really on autopilot when there's a massive bull run.
Yeah.
When there's a
Yeah.
bear market, and I think to provide some context to why Adam is so bullish on a bear market is the following: is that I'm sorry to use the French word twat, but any twat can build yield in a bull market. The real bosses build yield in the bear market, and we are in a sort of a bear market. Let's be honest about it. I mean, this price action lately in BTC is just is pure disease. Anybody that is putting on swing trades past the day is going to get absolutely wrecked. But can we extract yield in this market? Yes, absolutely. Is it exciting? Yeah, 100%. If you can extract this kind of yield in a bear market, that is amazing. I mean, we're going to get so hardened by this market and build such a strong protocol that it's going to autopilot to much higher yields if there is a bull run again. So, I think that we're here to stay, and what we've seen in the past weeks and months just gives me a lot of confidence that we're going to do well. The honest answer is that the yields in a bear market are not necessarily lower, but they're harder to get, and that sort of implicitly makes them a bit lower if you don't want to take an immense risk. And when we launch the protocol, we're not going to take 100% execution risk. We're going to start slow and calm and build up a sustainable yield.
Yep. Can we also find, this is a good question actually, can we find some way to get to know more about Grey Fox, Dennis and Comgito and the rest of the team? So I was having a thought the other day of doing a YouTube series or just sit down and chat. I actually did one the other day with Pixel Groove, our head of design, and it went really well. So that video will be coming out shortly, the branding stuff. So that takes you through the design process, Pixel's background, how he got to become a part of the Basis team, and how he came to come up with the logo, the NASDAQ logo, as it was picked up on the other day. But
I wear it like a badge of honor, though. Fuck NASDAQ. Let them come at us.
No, I love it. I love it. But yeah, that video will come out shortly, and I think it'll be a good idea to do one with each of the team over the course of the next couple of months and get those out. That would be a nice touch to get to know those guys a little bit better. So I think we will do that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's up to them, right? I mean, some people are geniuses,
of course,
but they don't want
to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
no.
I wish that people got to learn. These are the heroes behind the scenes. Like they're not as vocal, but they're the reason why we're still here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so can you shed any light onto the possible lending feature previously mentioned was port finance add-on to the DBLP?
Which
imagine this would be number 19, row 19, question 18.
Shedding light on the lending feature previously mentioned port finance add-on to DBLP. Yeah. We need and want a lending component to the DBLP infrastructure and ecosystem. We have to have this. So we're definitely on track for building this for multiple reasons, not only for collateralization, but also for enabling a perp market, hedging, etc., etc. Lending feature. Imagine how. Yeah. So I mean, I think we've answered this previously. Is that the lock periods will be in sync to the epoch periods. I think it depends on what you're going into. There will be a tandem usage. There will be a standalone usage, of course, but in order to utilize the lending feature within the DBLP, i.e., collateralization, you need to have it in sync with the epoch. It's these questions have like multiple components to them. So the more I read, the more it develops. If general health of crypto Solana ecosystem declines in this bear market and a highly likely recession, do you expect offers and enticements to increase? Well, the thing is that how do you like a thing that people need to realize is that APYs and APRs in this ecosystem derive from speculation in the end. People move money, and that's what drives yield. They have found Ponzi-nomic mechanisms to pump yield by emitting some worthless token with some half-baked buyback measure over time in order to sustain temporary yield. But nobody's ever held on to And I mean no disrespect to these protocols whatsoever, but nobody's bag-holding Saber or Sunny or tokens like that. They are there to increase the attractiveness of the protocol all the time. And sure, the tokenomics will develop, but that's, I mean, do you expect to offer us an enticement? So yeah, I expect to see them. Is that healthy? I'm not sure. Will we make the most of them? Yes, absolutely. Will we believe that they will be there until the end of time? No.
Cool. Next one, number 20. Can you share anything about the risk management framework for, I'm assuming that's for the DBLP, planning in place for Solana network outages and other events that I guess could cause a failure?
Yeah, so you need some USDC in the insurance fund in place. So you can think of it as an evolving risk. There's several aspects and dimensions to risk. There's operational risk, there's executional risk, there's counterparty risk, there's DPEG risk, there's legal risk, there's loads of risks. We're looking at all of them. It would be extremely stupid to, for example, have 30 million in an insurance fund that's doing nothing, which is really stupid. I think that this question was asked by some really intelligent people in the Discord several times, and I'm just going to be really honest to you, is that I could spend a month detailing this in a document, point by point, bold titles, bullets, and all sorts of stuff. But this is just something that we're discussing on a daily basis, and before we make any structural or architectural decision, we ask ourselves, how do we get fucked here? So I think that this and the fact that we have healthy external advisors and that we're going to get auditors on board will help us to mitigate these risks. Will we put all our eggs in one basket? I said earlier in this AMA, we won't. Will we need some liquid USDC available to cover any immediate execution risk? Yes, absolutely. So it comes down to a balance. There's no perfect way to solve this. There's no insurance party out there that gives you very low interest rate on a completely covering insurance. We just have to be really smart about the architecture and communicate. I think one of the things I do agree with is we need to communicate more about the architecture. Here I blame you, Ted, because I've been in the Discord more answering people's questions rather than making documents and diagrams.
Yeah, I'll cop that.
Yeah, so you would have seen a diagram on more detailed internals of the DBLP by now, but we just have a lot to do in little hands. So 19, can you share more about risk management? Yes, we will over time. And I think it's a justified question to ask and to demand to see anything more about it. And the fact of the matter is, if we want to attract some more serious capital, if they are clever, because not all serious capital is clever, unfortunately, they will ask about this and they will say, okay, well, show us which scenarios you've planned for and how you're going to mitigate these and these risks. And as and when this develops, we'll share this. Absolutely. I would like to spend the whole day talking about architecture if I could, but I also need to build the damn thing.
Absolutely. Next one is, okay, there's a very, very long-winded one here. We've touched on most of it already.
21?
Yeah, I think the one that stands out is, where is it? The recent change of roles. So I think they're referring to the change of titles that was on the website. So the titles came about in the first place to get Twitter verification for each of us. So that was the only reason that those C-suite roles came about on the website in the first place, and now they've been changed back to their DeFi form. So that's why you see that change. And who's leading the business? We're all leading the business as founders, as far as I'm concerned.
So
team 5 is.
So this is 21.
Question? Yeah, 20. Well, it says 21, but it's row 22.
Row 22. What are the implication proposed fee instructions on Solana?
I'm reading the last point because we've touched on the majority of it so far, right?
Yeah, but there's one interesting one. Okay. Fee introductions on Solana. Yeah, so we haven't touched on this. I think it's really good. I think that it will incentivize people to build better MEV ARB bots, which means that the network will be spammed less, and that means that there's more of an incentive for validators to become validators. I think that I hope that they would do this instead of just ban the Metaplex candy machine contract. So I think it's great. I think it's really fantastic. that they're going to introduce this fee structure. Fees are coming to Solana. That's extremely bullish for Solana. What is the forecast DBL? Cannot comment on that. No idea. Cannot predict the future. Can currently deployed strategies deliver high returns to size? Yes, reasonably. Will DBLP deposits be capped at launch? Yeah, absolutely. How? We'll let you know. Aside from fundamentals, I love this one. How? Yeah, we're going to communicate a lot more on that. We're the pumponomics and the tokenomics and the Ponzi-mentals. No, very earnestly, like I said earlier, we are working on ensuring that the token is naturally value appreciating. I'm not going to comment on price, but we want there to be a healthy natural growth. And in order to do that, you need to come up with very well thought out aspects to the ecosystem in the token, which we will communicate about. And it will go towards a DAO vote, and there'll be 17 PDFs on it, no pun intended, and it will be good. So cool. Recent change roles. Yeah, Ted, you covered this, like with the.
Yeah.
We can answer the next
question.
I
think previously people would have seen it as like Adam being CEO and me CMO, you CTO, but now it's DeFi style. We all touch on, obviously, Bull with the tech stuff. No one really touches that besides Bull and the dev team, but we all kind of have our hands in the larger pie. And help each other out. So.
I'm also talking to lawyers and accountants and setting up employment contracts.
Exactly.
I mean, anybody that has started a company will know that if you are under 50 people, then you're also the janitor, even if you're the CEO.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Last one is regarding the new.
There's row 23 as well, right?
Yeah. Did you want to cover that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think that's a hard question. We should cover the hard questions. Can all CT disclose their personal basis holdings and wallets? I don't think the personal funds arguments hold up at all. Okay, well, that's your opinion. I obviously don't care about the rest of your portfolio holdings trading for it to be public knowledge. If you're a director, major shareholder of a traditional company, we're not a traditional company. The lack of trust CT trading is palpable. Every channel we've seen wallets shared in the past, so no secret. So very, very honestly, questions like these, I understand the reason why you're asking questions like these, but they are so laden with emotion and with a bias towards an opinion. They're not objective. Like if you're going to ask a difficult question, can I give the advice to ask an objective question? It is so much more elegant to ask a difficult question objectively instead of it being skewed. However, I will try to answer the question. Everybody can disclose their own wallets at their own will. That's their own prerogative. 7-figure wealth and stuff. I'm not going to comment on my wealth or what I've done. I've retired long before Basis, so that's not really relevant. Seeing a sizable personal stack outside lock tokens. The thing is that we have some individuals that really want to be private and they don't want to think every single day about, have I touched this wallet with my own private stuff and so forth. And I respect that privacy. From my personal perspective, I can say the following. I will not work in a team where I cannot trust my peers. So I did the due diligence on the wallets. I have done the due diligence with the people internally. And I know for a fact that collectively we are holding more than the amount of lock tokens that we are supposed to hold, and we will continue to do so. And that is the absolute last thing I'll say upon it. The moment that I feel that that is not the case, I will be the most vocal about it, and I will actually leave the project. But for the moment, I'm perfectly comfortable with the way that this is. And you will see when the token starts unlocking as well as to what the structure is like. So I'm not worried about this whatsoever. It's a difficult question. I kindly implore people to ask difficult questions in a better way, because the problem is that questions asked in this way don't naturally encourage an answer. We do not owe you answers on anything. We want to have a good discourse, but I mean, there's no reason to take these with salt. So moving on.
Nicely said, Bull. Okay, next is regarding the new Saleable Cluster to run the DBLP services form and the Saleable database to store the DBLP data. Is the team looking for ways to include the basis token in its licensing of such services?
It's a good idea. We haven't thought about this, but this is a really good idea. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I would love that actually to somehow tie the token to usage externally. But I think that right now we're focusing on the launching of the DBLP. The DBLP will prove the worth of the underlying services. Once that is in place, then the demand will naturally be there. Yeah. It'll be fun discussions in the DAO. To be honest, these are the kind of things that I want to see in the Discord channels, not like the 17th Red Dead Redemption meme. I know people are able to make whatever memes they want, but if you're going to fud your own bags, you're not really doing yourself a favor. And if you talk value, and that can, we have the opportunity collectively with these group of thousands of people to be like a shining beacon of a protocol out there. And every day that we spend distracted on nonsense is a day that we're not building value.
Yeah. How is the team looking to integrate basis token in the IP and the tech that is being built so the token is not only a yielding token, non-essential to the project itself?
How is the team looking at basis token? So that's tied with the question above. Is that, let's say, for example, and I'm not saying that we'll do this. I'm just doing a hypothetical situation, right? So the people don't go into when licensing or some nonsense. All right. So imagine the following. We have a very healthy data lake. We have a dashboard around it, which shows what the quality of the data is. People can test and trial little bits of the data so far. Some protocols may have even built cool products based on this kind of data. And some party wants to come along and license the access to this data. How cool would it be to involve the basis token in some form of another with it? I mean, that would be, that's one component or one puzzle piece to a naturally value appreciating token, like I've said before. So it's a great idea. How? No fucking clue, to be honest. But yeah. Great idea.
Yeah, I think so too. With the data pipeline infrastructure that you're building and other tech, could basis markets build a decentralized on-chain liquidation engine like the Lick protocol to profit from managing liquidations? Can this be a strategy that's both profitable and a service the team could sell to other projects?
They should have called that protocol tiers because they're making money off tiers. And you collect tiers.
Lick's pretty funny. Lick.
I think if anything, it would be a strategy, but we won't make it an engine. No.
Yeah. If the TVL is capped at some point, is the team studying ways to create competition to enter the DBLP, which would benefit the basis token in another form rather than a distribution fee?
One second.
You still there, Bull?
Yeah.
Thinking. Creating ways to enter the DBLP.
Sorry, I just got called. If the TVL is kept at some point, the team is studying ways to create competition to enter DBLP. If I don't get this question, if the TVL is capped at some point, okay.
I think maybe they're saying that participation in the DBLP is capped. Are we creating a way for people to get in?
I understand. Like, you sort of gate, it becomes sort of like a boutique hedge
like
fund.
How many bases do you hold or something like that? Yeah. I think that's what they're trying to say.
I mean, I think that goes against everything that I have inside me as values and morals, because it would literally just be to make money. I think that value comes from a diverse pool of participants instead of some whales. If we were going to do that, then why would we launch a token and make it an external market? And I don't know. I think there's other ways to utilize basis token incentivization than keeping it like gated access.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. That's all we've got time for. Anything else, Paul? Any other thoughts, concerns, questions? Anything?
No, I think I'm happy we addressed the hard ones as well. Massive Yeah, no, I mean, if people have more questions, then make sure to send them. We'll do our best to answer them. I just want to say a last thing is that very often, I mean, I've been in the Discord a lot less lately because it's a massive distraction. But I do like it when there's positive vibes in there and people are sharing ideas. I just want to reiterate that, we're not here to make money off you. We're here to make money together. That's our goal. We're not here to cuddle anybody. We're not here to handhold anybody. We're here to build a protocol with a massive group of people that will grow towards being a naturally well-managed and governed protocol. So that we, make a mark in the ecosystem and the wider ecosystem and add some a positive contribution where people make money off that positive contribution. I think there can be nothing more beautiful than that. So, and myself and the rest of the team have a long-term focus. There's no need to make short-term gains of things. We're here to make long-term gains, and that's a core principle which we reiterated the other day. Is that whatever we do, our focus is on the long term, not on the short term. So, I want to apologize. I mean, on behalf of everyone, that the recent actions haven't really helped in reiterating that message. But what we're going to do is just keep building and being transparent and trying to answer all the questions if they are objectively written. And push it forward. So personally, I'm waking up excited every day to build on this.
Yeah, totally agree. Awesome. Let's keep building.
Good.
Thanks, Paul. We'll
okay.
cut it there and perhaps do another AMA if there's enough questions, enough interest in a couple of weeks' time, and see how we're going. But we'll keep everyone updated on that. But for now, we'll try and answer everything that we can in the Discord, and if you can run it through the community, guys, Dangerous Bros, Andy Mack and Tintin, and we'll make sure to keep open lines of communication along the way.
Yeah, I mean, the team won't be in the Discord every single day answering every single one of your questions, but we have the BM team that helps with that. And then we're just going to consolidate them and answer them in an efficient manner. But there's a massive crunch time ahead of us, so we'll be quite busy getting stuff released. Yeah,
for sure. All right, signing off. Thanks, Paul. Have a great day.
Yep.
I'm going to go get some dinner. All right, see you guys.